see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 886 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's May 4th, 2026. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10, that's LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today we got another packed show, cabin siting progress showing real results, gas prices jumping again, the latest nonsense around backyard chickens, and a whole lot more. Grab your coffee, smash that like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing today? Rewilder Life found her headphones and it joined in. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Mike's Homestead, thanks for stopping in. Good morning to you, sir, and Hunter over on Twitch. How's it going over on Twitch, Hunter? Lonely place, except for the spammers when it comes to this channel, for sure. Grab a sip of FTO Blonde there. It's fantastic. If you're watching the video, sorry about my my ticker tracker here doesn't have the green and red light up telling if Bitcoin is up or down. Forgot to plug it in yesterday. It lasts. Let's see if I charge it up and unplug it to put it up on the shelf for the show on Monday mornings. Usually the battery will run dry Thursday or Friday, and and then I'll plug it back into the computer and let it charge up over the weekend. But forgot to charge it this week, so don't have the nice green and red. Let you know Bitcoin is looks like it's plus 0.5% from yesterday at this time, so not a big change. No color indicator needed. Hunter says it's nice, it's quiet over there on Twitch. Yeah, I never really used it. I signed up for it, and then Hunter started watching over on Twitch for the live show, and so I've kept it active here on StreamYard along with YouTube and Facebook, which are have much more traffic, let's say. So anyway, let's get to that Bitcoin guessing game real quick here at the start of the show. So May 4th, 2026, 6:04 a.m. Bitcoin price is $78,994. $78,994 on May 4th, 2026, 6:04 a.m. May the 4th be with you. Let's see how those guesses went out. Let's start at the top. The high guess, John Palmer, 87,654. Blueberry, Texas, with a guess of 84,000 even. Philip McCombs, new member over at the Telegram chat. Enjoyed having Philip jump in there, and he's been participating quite a lot. Appreciate that. Philip guessed 83,333. I think Philip's up in Cleveland. He might, I think he has a Bitcoin meetup around there. So if you're in the Cleveland area and you want to get in on a Bitcoin meetup, head on over to the Telegram chat and hit Philip up. Thesia Ellis, I think, was last week's winner. She's in with a guess 82,600, scrambling with 81,800, all getting closer. Chris Dixon, 81,200. Rewilder Life, 79,999. She's in the right, in the 70s at least. My guess was 79,876, so getting closer there. I'm still going to leave that up there. I said that I'm going to leave my guess up there until the price is over it for the week, and we came real close this week. But the winner coming in, about $500 off, only 500 off again this week. We've had some pretty good guesses the last few weeks. Pip, our friend Pip over in the Telegram group, sometimes jumping in the YouTube in the morning. Pip in with a guess of $79,498.01. 1 cent. The 1 cent could have done it, but it didn't have to. Pip in with the win. Congratulations, Pip. Got $79,498.01. Don't want to forget that 1 cent. Anyway, I'm going to leave my guess up there. We were so close to hitting it or going over. I'm going to leave my guess up, 79,876. If you want to get in on the Bitcoin guessing game contest, head on over to the Telegram chat at t.me/lotschat. That's t.me/lotschat. It'll be a pinned message up at the top. Click on it, reply to it with your guess, and you'll be in for the next week. The prize is absolutely nothing, but we do have a good time with it and get bragging rights over in the group. I was doing some organizing here in the room yesterday, and I did find a Jade, Blockstream Jade, who I've been promoting for quite a while, back when they started with the original Jade hardware wallet. That is, if you're watching the video, you can see regular Jade here. Let me see. Let me maybe move this so I can actually see my screen. Regular Jade hardware wallet is the one they started with. Then they went on to the Jade Plus, which was a fantastic upgrade. They changed quite a few things on it, one being the dial wheel. They went to all push buttons, bigger screen, and several other things. It was upgrade. I thought that was great. The regular Jade still works just fine. Jade Plus, I think, is definitely better. And I see from my distributor, or from my contact over there through the affiliates, that Jade last week launched a new product. They're still gonna carry the original Jade, but they kind of upgraded the base model, which what I would consider the Jade, to include something called the Jade Core. It seems like a stripped down, very, very basic beginner model hardware wallet. Great for getting started. So if you want to check that out, if you don't have a hardware wallet for your Bitcoin and you're looking to get started and you want something super dead simple, you can scroll down into the video description or the audio description and find the link to the Blockstream store. If you click on that, you'll get 10% off. I'll earn a little commission, and I appreciate that. So check out Blockstream shop, where you can find the Jade Plus, the Jade Core, and the Blockstream app. If you need an app, if you need a Bitcoin wallet, even a software wallet on your phone, the Blockstream app is a great way to go. So check that out. You can find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. I don't know if they're over on F-Droid or the other sites. I'm not sure. When it comes to Bitcoin, you kind of want that official model. I think I saw news blurbs go by a week or probably 2 weeks ago now, that some people were getting scammed with a spoof wallet in the Apple App Store. Actually, I think it was something to do with Ledger hardware wallet or something. I didn't really dig into it. I scanned over it, and it went, had other things to think about. So be careful out there, folks. Bitcoin, or the Blockstream hardware wallets have a nice feature where you can confirm your wallet address on the screen of the hardware device when it pairs up with your software app. So just a little double security there. So if you want to talk more about Bitcoin and you want to get into it, you could definitely come over to the Telegram chat and bring that topic up over there. We like to discuss that, or you can reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to talk to you about it and get you through it. So anyway, that's enough Bitcoin of the week for the week. We'll see what happens. It's been pretty flat lately. Then been some rumblings around here and there. So we might start moving and be doing a little bit more Bitcoin content in the upcoming weeks. But anyway, let's get to that cabin update. As always, that's what I lead with every show. That's the biggest thing in my life. That's the thing that's going on most consistently every week, and the most exciting thing in my world. So that's what I like to talk about here. Corey had Friday off this past week, so we were able to bang out Friday and Saturday, and we accomplished our goals of what we wanted to get done for the weekend. So yesterday we kind of hung out here at the camper and took care of a bunch of stuff that needs to be done. When you're living someplace and working someplace and trying to spend all your time building that other place, things start to slack at the home where you're actually living, and you need to take some time and take care of business there. So that's what we did. We pounded it out Friday and Saturday and really hit those goals. Our goal was to get metal complete. So that includes getting the girts or purlins, whatever. I got a cat here this morning. All of a sudden I'm feeling something under my feet, and I wasn't sure what it was, but little kitty cat, house tiger down there by my feet. So girts or purlins or whatever you like to call them on the side. I know they're called purlins on the roof, and in a lot of places they're called girts on the sidewalls or purlins on the sidewalls. But the wood strips that the metal siding adheres to. So getting those up, getting on this side that we wanted to complete this weekend, there was 2 windows and a door. So getting them all trimmed out and then installing the metal. And this being one of the long sides is 36 foot long. So at 3 foot coverage per sheet, that's 12 sheets. Doesn't sound like a lot. It turns into a lot when you're doing it. So we got out there Friday morning and knocked out getting the girts up. It went fairly smooth. I've kind of been scoping that side out and getting a plan on how I wanted to do it. So basically it was just cutting everything to length and getting them held up and screwed in. It's tricky. Corey is she's I don't know. So I call her vertically challenged. She always fights back and says that she's average height, which we Google quite a bit over the years, and she is average height, and I'm above average height. But with our height difference, I look at her as not being as tall. But it makes things challenging trying to get up to different heights. It helped this weekend with the scaffolding we had borrowed from a friend. That helped with getting everything put up, but it went pretty smooth with getting the girts on the side, and then it was my show to trim out the windows and the doors. That kind of comes down to stuff that I figured out is it's really a one person job. I suppose I could teach her how to do it, and then we could struggle to fight over tools and getting in each other's way. Real Outlet Life says 5'2" is average. Hey Corey, didn't we figure out that 5'2" is average for a woman? Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I think she's a little shorter than average, but she's way closer to average than I am. At 6'4" or 6'5", I'm way above average for a male, and she's just slightly under average for a woman. So I think that's how it went. But anyway, she's short and I'm tall. But anyway, we could fight over getting the trim, doing the tools and all of that. But I just knocked it out, and I kind of went at it and got in the groove, and she helped me hold stuff in place and tack it up. And she got to spend some time on her days off, which I try to give her at least some relaxation time during her time off, because she works so hard during the week, and then gets time off, and then we're out there working. Will you get out of my stuff? This menace. Yes, you're a menace. You want to say hi? She's just a menace. Our cat that we end up with is bless you, Corey, is it's just a menace. But anyway, she helped me hold things up, got the trim knocked out, made some mistakes here and there, just trying to get it done. We spent a longer than normal day out there, but we did end up on Friday getting all the wood up, all the trim ready, and then that meant that Saturday all we had to do was come out and knock out those 12 sheets of metal. That wasn't as horrible as I think it's going to be on the gable ends. This was one of the long ends, the short sidewall ends. Basically a lot of full sheets, a lot of sheets where we didn't have to cut any window openings or door openings out, and we kind of got in a groove. We got a couple full sheets in, and then we had to cut a window out of a couple sheets, another full sheet, cut some for the door, some more full sheets. And as we were going, I think there was some point where we got a little bit off. We really couldn't figure it out where we were off. Everything was lining up, but when I was doing like measuring out the windows and the cuts for the windows, we were like a half an inch off from the bottom to the top, and visually really couldn't tell. We stepped back and we looked visually around the window. So I don't know if when we put our Z trim on, we used a level to we would start it at a certain height, and we used a 4-foot level to get it straight. I don't know if our cabin is like just a half an inch off. I don't know. Everything looked vertical. Everything looked like it lined up. But the measurements just were a little off, and I don't know what the deal there was, but we're gonna go with it. It's easily compensated in the corner trim. We did have one issue. We put one sheet up, and when I was putting up the trim, so I talked a couple weeks ago about throwing the hammer after I smashed my thumb, putting trim up with a hammer and roofing nails. And so that following week, I went and got an air nailer, 18 gauge. What is it? 18 gauge narrow crown stapler, I think is what it's called, from Harbor Freight, like $30, $40, something like that. It was working great. Had relatively few issues with it, like jamming up with or anything like that. I don't know if the air pressure setting got changed or what happened, but as I was doing the trim on Friday, I was getting a lot of jamming in the gun. I was getting a lot of spots where the staples weren't puncturing the trim. And so to unjam it, I would just knock it on the purlin and hit the trigger, and it would like spew out of the bound up staples. Well, I missed one, knocking it in with a hammer, getting them flat. And when we put the sheet up, it lined up right underneath where we put a screw in. And when I put the screw in, it dimpled the sheet. Unfortunately, this was a sheet that we had cut a window out of. And Corey and I looked at it, and man, it was right towards the end. We were almost done. We had so that would have been that one, and then 2 more sheets after that. It had been a long day. I looked at it, and I looked at the dimple, and I was just like, "Fuck me." I asked Corey what she wanted to do, and she didn't want to say let's replace it because it was more work. We were gonna have to take that down. We were gonna have to recut a sheet. We did have an extra sheet. We ended up having an extra sheet when we were doing the porch, so we did have one available. Other than that, we are pretty much right on with our sheet count, what we're going to need for the rest of the project. So we decided to use our extra sheet that we had accumulated. We took the sheet down, we put the new one up, and I think we'll be happy we did. Basically, where the big dimple was if you were driving up to the house, if you were coming from the driveway, walking up to the deck, it was like right next to the window. So if you were looking at the window at all, there was this big shiny dimple right on the sheet. And I think if we had left it, we would have been frustrated with it for forever, basically, because it's not going anywhere. And so I think it was the right decision. It did probably added another hour onto the day, but it was what it was. And for some reason, it started raining on Saturday. There was 0% chance of rain. We're standing there working on the metal, And all of a sudden, Corey's like, "Is it raining?" And we look up, and there's just this dark cloud over us in every direction. You could turn around and look in every direction, and it was sunny. But there was one dark cloud over top of us, and it just poured rain. We took a little break. We went and sat on the porch, and then got back to it. But it was like it was amazing. Like what was going on. But anyway, we wrapped it up. It looks good. We're really happy with it. It'll be excited to see everything with the corner trim on, and then the eave trim, and then when we get everything done underneath and get all the work done underneath, getting that wainscot different color around the bottom and get that all enclosed. I think it'll look really slick, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So that's 2 full sides done. That's the 2 long sides, plus the covered porch. Left to go, we have the 2 gabled ends, the 2 shorter ends. But one of them has 4 windows, one of them has 2 windows, and they're a lot taller. One of my goals this week before Corey's day off on Thursday is to finalize the girt layout on that side, how I'm going to lay them out, where our screw patterns are going to go, and also how to get to the peak without messing around with a ladder. I'm wondering if I can, depending on how to set the scaffolding up or what ladder to use, where to rest it when it goes up against the building. So that is I've been thinking about it for quite a while now, and I really haven't come up with a good solution. So we'll see how that goes this coming weekend. We're going to start on the side with just the 2 windows, and then tackle that 4 window end, which there'll be a lot of cutting and a lot of awkward sheets to install, but we'll figure that out at the last wall to do. Getting better with the cutting the sheets. That was kind of the goal. So we started with a really easy section that had no windows. It was just straight sheets. Moved on to the porch, where we could work on a door and a window where we were standing at the height of the door and the window, so we weren't up on ladders or on scaffolding. We also were cutting angled cuts on the interior of the porch walls, so we were getting experience doing that. Got experience doing the trim at, like I said, standing at eye level, not up on ladders. Cutting the metal out, installing the metal around the trim, doing all that without having to climb up on the scaffolding. And then we moved on to doing a short section with a window that we were having to climb up on the ladder. And this last section, it was a little more intricate, where we were going behind our deck and doing a lot of long sheets in a row, trying to get them in line. And then our next project is doing the gable ends, where we're having to cut the angled tops and get them way up. And I think the middle sheets they're 14 foot long, 16 foot long, possibly. And that's on top of the 4 foot wainscot at the bottom. So they're up there for sure. And it's a long, awkward sheet to handle. But we're getting experience doing all the different techniques and things that we're going to have to do to make it happen. The stapler issue I talked about, liking the hand shears that I got as a sample from S&K. The company sent those out to me on Amazon as an Amazon product review. Just happened to have them. It wasn't because I was doing metal work or anything. They sent them out just randomly. And man, they're working great. They're a little hard on the hands, but it is what it is. It was a free sample, and they're cutting perfectly fine. Just a little rough on the hands. The small trim shears, left hand cut, right hand cut, straight cut shears that I picked up from Lowe's. They're working well. For some reason, one of them is cutting odd. It doesn't cut straight and it doesn't cut as clean as the other one. And I don't know if it's out of adjustment, out of alignment, what it is. I've been considering going and getting another pair of just that side for doing trim. I don't know. Might try to power through it and see how it goes the rest of the way. But Hunter says meh at best. Yeah, he got some at Lowe's. They were I bought the cheaper ones at Lowe's. So they had one set that were generic brand that were like $10 cheaper than the Cobalt set. And I don't know, maybe the Cobalt set would be better. But the right hand, I think it's the right hand cut. Hunter got the Cobalt ones. Yeah, I got the cheaper ones. You know, only building my cabin. Why would I want to spend a little extra on some decent shears? Hunter said the offset isn't enough. Oh, okay. The big ones that I'm using for cutting cutting across the big sheets, the metal sheets, not the trim, work great. The trim ones, the right hand side is working well. Makes a perfect cut, a straight cut. It cuts. It seems to cut cleaner. The left hand one, it's just weird, and I don't know if I'm just holding it wrong, if I'm not lining it up right, if I'm twisting it, but it just seems to cut funny. And then the straight one is what it is, and I'm using that when it doesn't really matter, making just extra cuts to finish off the trim. So I don't know. We'll see. We got 6 windows left for the trim, and I'm getting pretty good at using the shitty cutter, even though it's shitty, and making it work. So we'll see. I do have a lot of trim, a lot of like corner trim and gable end trim and stuff like that to cut, and I'm guessing I'll end up getting a new set of those left hand, just the left hand. I won't buy the whole new set because the rights are working just fine. The power shears are working great for lengthwise cuts. Picked up a cheap pair of power shears, double cutting shears. Basically, if you've cut metal, it's one that spits out a ribbon of metal as you go, 2 blades, and then a center punch, and it basically goes doot, 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 doot. If you're watching the screen. Those are working great as long as you don't have to go over a ridge or along a ridge, a rib on the metal. We did have to cut on a rib and ended up scratching the hell out of the metal, basically, because it was forcing the head of the shears over into the rib, and didn't realize it until we got about halfway down or even further, and it was covered by the trim pretty much close. We'll have to use some touch-up paint, but we have lots of places that we're going to have to touch up a little bit. So that's going well, figuring it all out, and excited about the progress, and hopefully knock these last 2 windows out, and then move into electrical and plumbing, getting the solar field installed and rolling through that. So it's coming along, getting there. It's a big job, and slow and steady wins the race. Next up was something else I ran into on Friday. Let me pour a little bit of coffee here. So Friday we headed out in the morning, and we go by the little gas station here in town, and I was going to get gas. I was down to less than a quarter of a tank, or right around a quarter of a tank. I was going to top off. But there's only one pump at the gas station, and really, if you are pumping on the other side of anyone else pumping, it gets super slow here in town. It's old equipment. It's I'm guessing their tank's pretty dirty, but they at least they have filters on the pump, and they clog up a little bit. So it really slows down. And then when you have people pumping on both sides, it really, really slows down. And with a truck my size, when you're putting in 20 plus gallons, it can take a while. And so we were heading out and we wanted to get started, and there was somebody there pumping gas, and I was like, well, we got plenty to get to the property and back, and I'll just get it this evening, either on the way home or I'll run back out. That's a mile down the road. So we passed on that. We went out and worked, we came home, had to go to the gas station to get gas that evening, and I was pumping, and I'm like, oh, sweet. Didn't have that much. Didn't need that much. It was only, 24 gallons instead of the 30 that I usually have to put in, because I'll run it kind of low. And I looked at the price and I was like, holy shit. It had gone up. The price of fuel that day, because I had kind of kept an eye on it that day, and I saw the delivery truck there, had gone up 50 cents a gallon in a day, in like 8 hours. So literally, if I had stopped on the way in the morning, I would have saved myself $12 on that tank of gas alone. But man, we're up to $4.29 here in West Central Tennessee. Yay war, yay MAGA, whatever, you fucking assholes. I don't know what the point of the war here in Iran, or if it's still going on, or whatever the point was to begin with. But man, when they started bombing the shit out of them, I'm pretty sure our gas was at $2.39 a gallon, and now we're at $4.29. Well, that was as of Friday. We'll see how it goes this week. I can't imagine it's going to go down at all. I haven't even seen any reports. There could be shit going on. I'm not interested in bombing brown people or what's going on there, and the on again, off again love affair with Trump and Iran, and whatever the fucking point is. But all I know is gas is up over $2, almost $2 a gallon since it started, and that's $60 in my tank. $60 fucking dollars extra to fill my tank on my truck. So yeah, thanks, man. That's it's worth it to me. Oh no, wait, it's not. I want to be back to that $2.39. I'm pretty sure this guy was the one that said that he was going to bring lower gas prices and no new wars. And here we are. It's here we are, and we have high ass gas prices. This is higher, I believe, than when Sleepy Joe was in, for sure. Yeah, I think we were in Minnesota mostly when that was going on, but definitely way higher than it's been since we've been in Tennessee. And yeah, I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. There's nothing I can really do about it. Maybe get a little more efficient vehicle for running around, but yeah. Hunter said saw something about Iran gas prices. They're about 12 cents a gallon. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, they produce this shit themselves, so why wouldn't it be stupid cheap? Wilder Life says it's so crazy. Nothing is going on currently. Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, I know I'm not digging in. I'm not watching the news. I'm not trying to figure out the next move in the war and all that shit. I've really just kind of checked out. But I would normally see blips, rage bait shit on social media. They funnel that shit in just so you see it and see if you bite. Hunter says, don't we produce also? Yeah, but we sell it to other people. Iran doesn't play the games where they're doing where we're doing world market prices and all that bullshit. They just keep it in house. So pretty sure that's the difference. I could be wrong. Maybe their cost of production is less, but I'm pretty sure that Orangeman said he'd bomb them into the Stone Age or something. ridiculous like that. But I haven't been like seeking out information, but I haven't seen anything. So there isn't anything going on. At least as far as Rewilder Life and I both know, there's nothing going on, but gas prices are going up. Rewilder Life says, hasn't Iran removed itself from OPEC? Likely. I would I wish we had, but then the petrodollar would collapse, and then the U.S. economy would show its evil stripes, and maybe Bitcoin would go to the moon. I don't know. It would be painful. It would definitely be painful if the dollar absolutely implodes. But I think if the petrodollar goes away, I think that really hurts our standing in the world. So, not man. Just let me get into the woods, and I don't have to worry about it. There's so many things. Corey and I are seeing so many things daily here in person and also online, where we're just like, are we living in the woods yet? Can we just be there and not have to deal with the outside world at all, because it's just going to shit, and there's so much out there that we don't want to deal with and we don't want to have to see on a daily basis. So getting closer. Speaking of getting out in the woods and being self-sufficient, taking care of yourselves, the first thing you usually get when you want to have a farm and you want to do the homestead thing is you get chickens. Saw a story earlier this week, and then they doubled down a little bit on it. Posted it in the Telegram group when I saw the first one and the second headline. But the first headline was something to the effect of backyard chickens causing salmonella in 13 states. And you're like, oh, wow, 13 states. That's getting pretty big. That's significant. But yeah, in those 13 states, it was 34 people that were getting salmonella from backyard chickens. And it reminds me back in, I don't know, was it 2020, 2018? It was like on and on ever since we started our farm. And it might have been before, and I just really didn't pay attention to it. But when we got chickens in 2015 and started raising them and producing meat chickens and selling chicks, I really kind of stayed in the loop with the onslaught and the attack on backyard chickens. It's been kind of constant since then. So you get used to it. I'm like, oh, here we go again. They're going to go after the backyard chickens. But it seems like it's pretty ridiculous, the stats. When you think about it, the average person, I guess, reading the headline is like, oh my God, 13 states and 34 people are sick. I don't know. They must not have gotten the reaction that they wanted, because the next time I saw the headline, it was 13 states, 34 people in 13 states come down with drug-resistant salmonella from backyard chickens. All right, so drug resistance, if you don't know, is a device of our own doing. In my opinion, and this isn't medical fact, I'm not a fucking doctor. I haven't gone to college to be a doctor, but I'm pretty sure when doctors prescribe antibiotics like fucking candy for anything under the sun, those things end up becoming drug resistant. They mutate, they get stronger, they survive, like things will do in nature, and become drug resistant. Instead of just, maybe you're sick and you got to let your immune system take care of it. So drug resistant is one issue, but the backyard chicken thing. Now, let's really talk about the numbers here. 13 states, and I'm not really sure how we link 13 different states. I got the article here. Let me see what the states were again. Sick people have been reported in Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Maine, Michigan, Mississippi, New Hampshire, Ohio, Tennessee, Wisconsin, West Virginia. That's a wide area. And to 34 people in those 13 states. I'm not really sure how they're saying that this is all related together. And as I read the article, it says at least 34 people in 13 states have been sickened with salmonella poisoning traced to contact with backyard poultry, including some with infections resistant to common antibiotics. Backyard poultry includes birds like chicken, ducks, geese, and guinea fowl, and turkeys, animals that carry germs, including salmonella, that make people sick. Illnesses were reported from February 26th to March 31st and include 13 people who were hospitalized, according to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Sick people range in the age of 1 to 78, but more than 40% are children younger than 5. Tennis. Wilder Life says, are these all blue states? I don't know. Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi, New Hampshire. No, they're not all blue states. All right, let's see. Of the sick people interviewed, nearly 80% report contact with backyard poultry. Of people interviewed who owned backyard poultry, more than 90% had obtained the animals since January. People got the poultry from various places, including agricultural retail stores. Health officials are investigating the source of the animals. Bacteria from samples from 34 people show they might be resistant to at least one drug used to treat salmonella infections. Of those, some also showed they might be resistant to 4 other common antibiotics. So they're not really sure if they're drug resistant. They might be drug resistant. Infections that are unable to be treated with antibiotics can result in serious illness or death. The CDC has investigated multiple salmonella outbreaks involving backyard poultry in recent years. In 2025, an outbreak sickened more than 500 people in 48 states, with 125 people hospitalized and 2 deaths. Young children, older people, and people with weakened immune systems are most likely to get sick from these germs. The best way to prevent illness is to wash your hands after handling poultry, their food, or items in their environment. People should avoid kissing or snuggling with backyard chickens. All right. So I've seen this article in multiple news outlets, multiple different places, and it's a headline. I mean, this is like leading in some of their news sections, up on the upper page of their websites. And the Rewilder Life says, might slow news day. Yeah. So 34 people. Somebody in the group was like, yeah, 34 people. That's like 1.6 people per affected state. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Hunter says, I was with you up until the last bit. No kissing. He loves kissing his chickens. So I really was curious. 13 people. You got 13 people that have gotten sick in the United States. Well, I mean, they say there may be more, but 13 people have been reported. What does that really mean in the population of the United States? Like Aaron said over in the group, that's 1.6 people per affected state. But I'm like, what in the total population of the United States? I'm not talking just people that have backyard chickens. I'm talking about all the people in the United States. So I did a little sleuthing or a little math here on the Chat GPT. The total population of people in the U.S. is 335 million people. 335 million. So we're talking 34 people out of 335 million. That turns out to be 0.6% 0.00001% of the population has gotten sick from backyard chicken salmonella poisoning so far this year. Is that news? Let's put it a different way. 1 out of every 9.8 million people has gotten sick. Now, it didn't report any deaths so far. So we're only talking they got the shits, they got the upset tummy, and that they tested the bacteria and it might be resistant to drugs, but obviously wasn't bad enough for them to get sick and die. So they had a little bit of tummy upset. Man, I think there's probably more people having Hunter says, wasn't that cruise ship sickness more? The poop cruise? I'm never going on a cruise after watching Poop Cruise on Netflix. Yeah. I don't know what cruise ship sickness are we talking about? I don't know. I'm telling you that 34 people out of the United States is not newsworthy, in my opinion. That's 34 people that, like, their kid crawled around in their chicken coop and ate the chicken shit and got sick, or grandma was taking care of her backyard flock and decided that she wasn't going to wash her hands. Hunter says Hanta or something like that. I don't. Is that some gross disease you get from going on a cruise ship? Something that I'm not going to do. I don't want to be stuck on a boat in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of fucking people I don't know. Same reason I don't like to fly. I'm just not a big fan of getting stuck in a tube in the air with a bunch of people that I have no idea what their deal is. Just not for me. Real other life says sounds like Ozempic sick. Just got the shits. Maybe some of them could have used it. I don't know, but it's just the fear mongering. I saw the other day somebody, and I understand ticks. Let's move on to ticks a little bit, and Lyme and alpha gal. We talked about that last week, and the increase in tick population. I understand that tick-borne illnesses are real. Don't get me wrong, and that the percentages of Lyme's carrying ticks is growing. That the percentages of Lyme's disease are growing. But I saw a post on social media the other day that somebody was giving up on gardening and going outdoors, and they were going to move into an apartment and basically not go outside because they had a tick on them. I don't understand how people can become so fearful of nature, so fearful that they had one tick in a jar, and it didn't even say, and I don't know if it was attached or if they just found it crawling on them, that's going to upend their life. What is this? What the media has done? Is the media with this backyard chicken story trying to scare the shit out of people to not have chickens? What is the purpose of this report? I don't think Rewild Other Life says, oh, a new vax is coming out, so we have to start fear mongering. Right. But I don't know what the end goal of this report is, of these 13 people or 34 people getting salmonella. Is it to make people aware that they should wash their fucking hands when they handle their chickens, or make sure they cook the eggs, or be aware? I think people that have chickens, no, I shouldn't say that. People are fucking retarded. I don't know. I don't know. Is it to gain public disdain for backyard chickens? I don't get the point of the story. It's a nothing burger. It's for maybe clickbait, I guess. I don't know. let's move on. So last week I talked about taking down a large hickory tree out in the on Delinquent's Gully that I was putting in a new comfrey patch, production comfrey patch for production perennial medicinals and ingredients, I guess you'd say, for salves and dried plants and root cuttings and propagation, things like that. So it was 30 by 50 area. I dropped a big old hickory tree. I got most of it cut up and split last week, or the week 2 weeks ago. Last week I was able to split up the rest and I got it all stacked. Ended up being a pretty decent stack and a really good start to the 2027 wood supply for our cabin. We will be running wood stove for our main heat in the winter. And so that'll be a really good start. It was the stack was about 16 foot long, and in in the middle it was 4-ish or a little higher. A little higher. It was a funky stack. Had to really stack it weird because out at that property there really isn't a flat spot to stack wood, and there really wasn't a flat spot in the area where all the wood was split and where I was kind of working, and I didn't really want to move it all just to stack it. So basically it was stacking kind of on a side hill and a downhill. So as I was stacking it, I'd kind of like run it out to balance it. And I could only go so high with some of the parts of it, but it's a nice big pile of wood. A good start. I got more trees to bring down for the solar field, which will be an addition for that 2027. And depending on how many dead trees, I know there's at least 2 or 3 that I'll be bringing down. Will probably be stacked up and ready for this winter. But got that wood stacked up and all split. And then on Thursday, after we got 3.5-ish, maybe 4 inches of rain in a couple days, which was really kind of nice. It got the ground nice and soft. Comfrey Roots showed up from comfreyroots.com. My friend Brian fulfilled the order for me and got those out here. We'll be running comfreyroots.com East production here. And kind of splitting that country in half, and when big orders come in or the weather is getting warmer, we can cut down those transit times by shipping from 2 different locations. But got probably 100 and I would say at least 125 plants in the ground. And we'll see how they go. When I was planting them, I was really happy with how moist the soil was. Weather was cooperating over the weekend. It wasn't super hot. It was kind of overcast for one of the days, little sun the another day, and then, like I said, we got those random pop-up rain showers on Saturday. And then in the forecast this week, it looks like we have not a ton of rain, but enough to keep things moist and keep those roots from drying out, but not so wet that they're going to end up rotting. It's going to be challenging. Well, not going to be a challenge at this point. There is no water access where I was planting this, so it's not something where I'm going to be able to water them and baby them. But anyway, it'll make the strongest plants survive. Kind of guerrilla planting them, doing a bunch, seeing what comes up, and then filling in the holes by propagating the stuff that did survive. And the stuff that did survive will be super strong plants that are really drought resistant or good for multiple conditions. And that's the kind of plant, the strong plants that we want to keep propagating. We want to keep selling and having good success rates when people order them from me. So that is all installed, and I'm going to keep an eye on that, see what comes up. Shouldn't be more than a couple weeks and see some decent progress on those. I had cut back a bunch of comfrey in the food forest around some of the trees. So when we installed the food forest down there, we put a comfrey plant one root cutting with each of the fruit trees and the fig trees. Yes, here in Tennessee, it's how we grow them. They're not really trees. They get cut back to the ground every year, but one root cutting with each one, and plants have come in fantastic, really strong, to the point where it must be 3 weeks ago now, maybe 4 weeks ago, I had to cut them back. Did some chop and drop mulching around the fruit trees with the comfrey leaves I cut down, and man, it was less than 2 weeks. They were back full again, and likely this week after the rain and then the decent sun, I'm guessing I'm going to have to chop and drop them again this week, which will be about once a month. So lots of biomass there, lots of chop and drop mulching, and with the new comfrey patch I'm installing, that is going to be for some comfrey tea production, for comfrey salve production, for compost booster, maybe some dried leaves. I don't know. When we were in Minnesota, I had 7 different products that I was running out of our small comfrey patch there. I shouldn't say it was small. It was probably 100 plants. So just a little smaller than what we installed, what I installed the other day. So it ramping up. It won't be a ton this year, but next season it should be full blown and rocking and rolling with that. This fall, I'm going to be adding in several other things. I'm going to be installing some echinacea in there, some yarrow. What other? There were 4 other perennial medicinals that I was going to install along with that, and then our clover, calendula is one, and there was one more. I'm not going to be able to think of it, but anyway, and then the row covers are going to be seeded heavy in with white clover in that section. So that'll be this fall. For now, everything is kind of marked out. The rows are kind of marked out. I'm going to keep the in betweens kind of knocked down with the weed eater, and just hope that comfrey comes in and shades out everything in those rows where it's planted, and it keeps those weeds down. So eventually, in maybe a year or a little bit more, it really should be self-sustaining and not need any constant upkeep with weed eater or weed maintenance or anything like that. So we'll see. Lots of chop and drop going to go on in there and kind of choke things out that way, and re-nourish the soil. And but it's forest bottom soil that's been there for a long time and not been touched. So it's pretty rich and full of life. So we should do good. Everything I planted out there has done really well. Trees, bushes, shrubs, everything really kind of takes off. So Pip says a little late. Good morning, humans. Pip, you were the winner this morning. You were definitely the winner on the Bitcoin guessing contest. Congratulations, sir. And you can head to the Telegram group to pick up your prize. That's what I got. That's what I got this week, I guess. Coming up on an hour. One thing I got to look at this week, I got these tools, and if you're watching the video, I'll put them up. But this company, Kelvin Tools, KELVIN, contacted me and asked to send out some tools to review. I've been kind of looking at them. I got this one, Kelvin emergency multi-tool. Pip says cabin looks great. Thanks, you, sir. I appreciate that. Emergency multi-tool for the car. I got this 36-in-1 multi-tool, and then this screwdriver, this interesting screwdriver. But I've been looking at them. I gotta make some content this week, make some videos about them. I've been looking at them. I think they're so I'm in a weird spot. Like, I use tools pretty heavily. As a former service tech, as somebody that I'm building a cabin, I'm doing kind of work out on the property. I need my tools to be pretty tough, and compact and useful. These ones, as I'm using them, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of Karen HOA Karen, that has a junk drawer that needs maybe a multi-tool that has all these tools that she can slide in her junk drawer, or somebody that's got that needs a screwdriver like that, and trying to put myself in their shoes. And I think these tools are built decent enough, and have functionality for those situations. And the car one seems pretty useful to keep in your car as an emergency tool. But like their multi-tool isn't something they're going to put in my pocket. I'll tell you that. It's heavy, it's bulky. There's a lot of usefulness there, but it's nothing that I'm going to carry myself. So I'm trying to put myself in a different scenario. Somebody that just needs something for around the house for doing little maintenance thingies, or needs something to be able to grab and go. And I think these might be that. So I'm going to dive in and play with them a little bit more, and give them a review this week. Likely, I'll probably make videos for all of them. So keep an eye out for those. If you're not subscribed here on the Hunter says useful tools, 72-1 drivers. I scoff at their weak disposition. Yeah. I mean, sometimes more is less and less is more. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Keep an eye out for those videos. Be sure you're subscribed over on the YouTube channel. Hit the like if you could. If you're watching the video, I appreciate that. And share the podcast. And if you're still hanging around, Comfrey, head on over to comfreyroots.com. We'll get those orders out every Monday morning, freshly dug and on their way to you. Hunter says either the handles break or the bits are weak. There is that. And if you're looking to pick yourself up a new Bitcoin hardware wallet, new or your first, be sure to check out that link for Blockstream down in the chat. I appreciate that. Other than that, I hope you have a great week and get all your hopes and dreams achieved, and we will catch up with you next Monday.